because I do that so often where I'll start a book, leave it for 2 to 3 weeks, pick it up again, and then I'm suddenly like, what happened?
The time has come. The time has come. I've been putting this one off for a while now. I don't even remember when I read Caraval. That was a good hot minute ago. Was that March? Oh god. The time has come that I've been saying I've been going to do it for a while, but I'm finally going to reread, I should say, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, because this book has been sitting on my shelf taunting me. I am a little bit apprehensive going into this one. I was optimistic going into my reread of Caraval because I had a feeling that now that I'm older and my reading taste has changed, I was optimistic that I was going to enjoy it the second time, and that the first time I was just being a little cynic. And I was, and I did enjoy it, and I think I gave it 5 stars. The ending still bugs me a little bit. There's something about the ending that's a bit weird. However, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, however, I'm a bit like, I didn't like the dialogue. I didn't like the main character. I didn't like the way she spoke. I didn't like the way the characters talked to each other. And dialogue is a big thing for me. If I feel like dialogue feels unbelievable, so you've got people saying things that in my mind, I'm like, people don't talk like this in real life, it's game over. It is game over for me. I'm like, this doesn't feel real. This feels fictional. The characters felt very cartoony. And so I'm not that optimistic. The only thing it's got going for it right now is that I don't actually remember who the killer was or what the real story, how it all panned out in the end. I don't remember any of the mystery, really. I cannot think of anything. So that's good. I don't remember what happened. So at least it's got that going for it. Like, I'm not going into it, reading it and thinking like, I know what happens. I hate this. So that's good. This is good. So maybe I'll enjoy the mystery aspect of it enough that it'll take away from the fact that I hate the dialogue. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe I will really enjoy it actually on my reread. Maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. Maybe I was just being a cynical little bitch. Let's bash through this. I just wanted to check in. I am on the 100-page mark, or I'm nearly there. I'm like on page 99. And do you know what? So far, I don't hate it. There have been a couple of moments when Pip has said something that I'm just like, ooh. And she was like, holy pepperoni. Oh my god. And when she started describing to him what a jiffy meant because she was nervous, and I'm like, people don't actually do these kind of things in real life, do they? Do they start rambling because they're nervous and just start blurting out random facts? I don't know. It always just feels like very, very fictional, very not real, and it sort of takes me out of the moment because I'm like, people don't talk like this. But so far, there's not been too many cases, or if there have been moments where the characters sound a little bit cringe, I've sort of just let it go. I've let it go, and I'm just sort of moving on. I'm already remembering like slight details, so I'm partially like, I am convinced I know who the killer is. And I'm also having a moment of, but is a character still alive? I don't know, actually no, I don't know how I'm going to talk about this because I really don't want to spoil the book for you. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know, because I'm having a moment where I'm like, I feel like I'm remembering. I am remembering things. I'm feeling, I don't really want a spoiler, you know, I'm going to put a little spoiler warning for just this moment. I have a feeling that one of the characters that we think is dead is not actually dead. I think they were taken and they've been living in a house somewhere, and the person who is the real killer had like abducted them and is keeping them in a home, or is like keeping them locked away somewhere. But it's been 5 years, so I'm like, is that right? Is that right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. And then I remember that there's a character that once Pip starts doing a little bit of digging, starts sort of not threatening her, but yes, kind of threatening her. And I had a name in my head of who I thought it was that was doing it to her. So in my memory, I thought it was, her name's Becca, but I had the name Becky in my head, which is Andy, who's the girl who went missing and is presumed dead, her younger sister, who we haven't actually met yet. And we've reached a point in the story where she does get, something happens to Pip where like somebody's kind of like watching her or does something to her. I can't remember if they text her, but I just remember there's something while she's out camping with her friends. But I can't really remember what. And I always thought it was Andy's sister who was doing this stuff to her. but we haven't met her yet, so I don't think it is her. I don't think it could have been her. So I have other characters in my head that I think it could be, but it's amazing how much I just really don't remember it. But so far, we're 100 pages in, and you know what? It's not as bad as I remembered. I always think they try so hard to embarrass characters. Like Pip is shopping with her mum in a supermarket, and they bump into Ravi. Her mum's there, and she's sort of like, "Oh, mum, this is Ravi," and his mum, who is like a real estate agent, realtor, is like, "Oh, I remember you, Ravi. Like, I sold you at your parents' house 15 years ago. You were cutting around in a Pikachu onesie and a tutu." And I'm just like, and he's like, "Yep, the trend never caught on." And I'm just like, oh my god. Why would she remember that? And why would she say it? And like, this is what I mean. This is what I mean about dialogue. This is what I mean about dialogue, where in books that just nits. I'm nitpicky about it because I don't like it in some situations, because that to me is just like this unnecessary cringe dialogue that's like trying to embarrass him, but he wasn't even really embarrassed as such. It made me embarrassed, because I'm like, I always remember the first time I read it, I was like, oh, it gave me the ick. And it gave me the ick again the first time I read it, because I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming this time, so I was like, I was bracing myself for it. But those are like the little things with dialogue that I'm like, oh, like, why would you say that? Why did you say that, mum? Like, she could have literally just says, "Oh, I know Ravi, like, I sold his parents their house 15 years ago." And that's all it had to be. Not, I remember you were cutting around in a Pikachu onesie and a pink tutu. These are the things that I hate in books. Cringy dialogue. Unrealistic cringy dialogue. But anyway, we're 100 pages in. Let's crack on. Okay, so I managed to read 170 pages yesterday, and do you know what? It's okay so far. It is actually okay. Pip has only said holy pepperoni 3 times. It's not been that bad, actually. I think I overhyped how much I hated it the first time I read it. Probably because back then I was a very moody reader, and something about this book and the main character irked me. She still does, because she says holy pepperoni in real life situations where I don't even think I would turn around and say holy moly. It's not been too bad. We're starting to unpack a little bit about Andy's life. I don't think I picked up on this the first time because I don't remember having these feelings, but I'm getting a very strong vibe that the character of Andy, who is the girl who has gone missing, she's getting Alison De Laurentiis from Pretty Little Liars vibes. The way that she's a mean girl. She's not very nice. She's not even very nice to her friends. She's always like picking on them, berating them about things they're insecure about, not being entirely honest about her own secrets. So like she'll hint to them that she has a secret, like she's got a secret boyfriend, but won't give them any information because she loves having secrets. And I'm like, oh my god, this is literally Alison. It's Alison De Laurentiis. And I'm still clinging on to the notion that I have that I think she's alive. I think it's a full-on Alison moment that she's still alive. I am pretty sure it is the teacher, Mr. Elliot Ward, who is the father of our main character Pip's friend Cara. I think he killed her. Not killed her, but I think there was something. Was he having a relationship with her? There was something, and he was responsible for her abduction, and he has her holed up somewhere, and he's had her there for the past 5 years. And then he killed Sal and made it look like a suicide, and then framed him for Andy's death to help her like disappear. I don't know though. I don't know. That's the theory I have in my head that I think I remember from the first time I read this, but we shall have to see. I can't remember the last time I picked up this book and read it. I can't even remember when I started filming my reread of this. January? When was I reading Caraval? Was that last year? I really don't know. Either way, I'm getting around to, because I was so, look how far from the end I was. I'm like the last part, or like the last quarter. And I just completely forgot all about it and just didn't bother sticking with it. And there was nothing wrong with it, really. Well, I say that. Obviously, this is a reread because these are books that I hated initially. I've got to the point in the story that I remember at one point reading about the first time I read this, where her dog goes missing. And it turns out, like, the killer took him. And I remember reading it at the time and being like, oh my god, this is so dull. Like, the dog's gonna be fine, and then we're all gonna move on from it. And then, I'm not gonna spoil, but the dog wasn't fine. And I do remember being shocked by that the first time I read it. I have a feeling. I think I know who took the dog, but I don't remember why they did it. So, and I still think I know who the killer is. I'm pretty convinced I know who the killer is. And I'm pretty convinced I know something about the mystery. I've read a couple of chapters. I'm going to maybe just read for another wee bit just to keep going. I did backtrack a little bit today just to make sure like I was up to speed. It's annoying that it's been so long since I read this, or since I started my reread, because everything would have been so fresh in my mind, and now I'm kind of like, I don't really remember much of, but I do remember, like, my main thing with this book that I remember from my very first read of it is I just struggle with the main character and her family. They're a bit weird. They just say things a lot of the time that just make me cringe. It still makes me like, her dad calls her Pickle, and that just it gives me the ick. I don't know why. I'm like so it's so silly. Like, I remember that from the family. Like, I remember the dad being like overly jokey about everything, and one of those like, we need to have a serious talk, Pep, and it's not serious. Like, I just remember that from the first time I read this book, and I did not like the main character because of it. She was so weird in the way she spoke, and I was like, real people don't talk like this. Apart from that, it's well written. The characters are like well fleshed out, and the mystery is still pretty good, even though I sort of think I know what happens, but I don't entirely remember. But I'm gonna do a bit of reading just to progress through this book. Okay, so we're at our 3/4 mark. What will I call it? Like the 3/4 drama? Not really drama, but you know how it's like something always happens 3/4 of the way through a book that's sort of like not really a turning point. It's more of like a drama. But basically something happens in Pip's life, and she decides that it's not safe for them to be investigating the case anymore. Obviously, I have a feeling that she will keep going with it. Like, she's not going to actually give up. But she doesn't want Ravi involved because she's trying to protect him. And so she's basically just told him that she's deleted all of her stuff and she's not looking into the Andy Bell Sal case anymore. At the end of the chapter, she says, Ravi hated her, but he would be safe now. I hate that trope. I hate that trope where one character wants to protect another character from whatever is happening, and the best way they think to do that is to make them hate them. I just hate that. I hate that. It's like it's sort of the same as me as like the miscommunication trope. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's just, oh, I hate it so much. It's just like, tell them the truth. Pull them aside and be like, this is getting scary now. This is like getting real. This is the problem that we are facing. The killer is coming after us or has been targeting me. So I need to keep you safe, because what if they kill you? What if they kill me? I just feel like honesty is the best policy in these kind of situations. I just always hate when characters fall out for no reason. It's the same with the miscommunication trope. I hate when characters fall out all because like somebody starts a sentence and they don't get to finish it. And they're like, I don't even want to listen. I don't even want to listen to you. I hate it. I hate it so much. So much. So that only lasted a page. because the very next chapter, Ravi comes back and he was like, I stayed up all night trying to work out why you would do this, or why you would say such a thing, or why you would give up. And I realized there could only be one thing. And he realizes the truth. He realizes exactly what happened. So she's now being honest with him. And that's it. We're back on track. All that rant for nothing. I really need you to not pay attention to my hands, because I was messing around last night with a spray tan body mist thing, and I put it on yesterday morning and it did nothing. So I was like, oh, it doesn't work. It's a scam. I've been scammed. And then I woke up this morning and my hands look like this. So, and the rest of me is not. Anyhow, so last night I finally did it. I finally finished my reread of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't even remember when I started this. It was a while ago. It was so long ago. Since starting this book, I have moved house. I have got a boyfriend. I got a promotion. Like, there has been so much has happened since I started reading this book. I can't wait to edit this footage together and see me from like probably over a year ago, because I'm pretty sure my reread of Caraval was last January or February. From what I remember, I'm pretty sure I did the intro to the video in January. I read Caraval in the February, and that is me only just now finishing A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't remember what happened. I don't remember how I got sidetracked or forgot about it. But either way, I don't remember what I would have scored this book back when I first read it, because I'm pretty sure the first time I read this was before I had Goodreads and I ranked my books. So I'm not entirely sure what I ranked it. That being said, I don't think I would have been very generous, mainly because I didn't like it. I remember I didn't like it, and even the mystery was good. I just remember the key things I remembered was I hated the main character, I hated the way she spoke, I hated the way she acted, I hated her family and the way that they acted. And I just remember not being that invested in it, and I got mad several times, and I was just young and dumb and a hater. So my second reread of this book, I must admit, I liked it a lot more than I definitely did the first time. I think this time I focused in more on the actual mystery, and I didn't let the character, the cookie characteristics that bothered me the first time, I just didn't let them bother me this time. I got a few things right about this book. I remembered one part of the reveal, but then there were still things that surprised me at the end. I remembered something else and I couldn't remember how it tied in or what the connection was, and so I was actually surprised again when it all came out. So that was really good. This is actually a really good mystery. I feel like there's so much is going on. There's so much that Pip has uncovered, and then it's one of those, it's not until the very end where one piece of information comes to light that you're just suddenly like, wait a minute, this throws a spanner into the works. This changes everything. It was really, really good in terms of the mystery. I did like Pip, but more this time. She didn't annoy me as much. There are still times that she says things, or even just her family says and does things, and I'm just like, oh, I am just a hater at heart, and I hate whenever you get characters that are just so like when she was saying holy pepperoni out loud, I was like, that's just a bit. There probably are people out there who says it, and no offense to you if you do. I just hate that kind of, I hate that kind of dialogue in books and TV shows and movies. I hate it on all fronts where a character says something and it's like, oh my god, they're a bit too quirky for me, and I'm just not. I'm a hater. Like, rather than saying holy pepperoni, just say holy shit. You know what I mean? But I got on better this time with it, and Pip didn't bother me all that much. One thing I will say though, there are a few moments where it felt like it made you feel as if she was being like super smart and oh my god, I've just realized something, but actually it was guesswork. Like, there was a moment where something some information came to light and she put 2 and 2 together and was like, wait a minute, this means that blank. I'm not saying anything about this book, but this means this. This could mean this. This means this. And she said it like it was for definite. And it was a bit like, no, but you could be wrong. Like you're guessing. And then it turns out she was sort of right, or she was right, but it wasn't right. I can't really say anything about it. There were moments where she suddenly came up with these ideas and was like, it's almost like a little bit like Sherlock Holmes with his, like, this person did this, and this means this, and this means that, and that means, and so this actually means that on this day, at something, because of mud on their footprints, because of mud on their shoes, they were actually in this very specific field. Like, it just, things like that. I love it when it's Sherlock. I don't love it when it's another character, if that makes sense. She just made the odd assumption, but she said it like it was true or like it was gospel, and then what would end up being right. She had nothing that would get her there. She was making a lot of guesswork, and then she would go and speak to people and question them about stuff, and she would say it like it was gospel, and then they would like lead them into like a confession of, I don't know how the hell you found this out, but yeah, you're right, kind of thing, or you're right, yes, I confess. And it just, I don't know, it kind of, the way this teenage girl went on sometimes speaking to adults and just different people, and I don't know, I guess she was just passionate. Either way, I'm rambling, but I think this time I would give this book, I don't really want to give it 5 stars, but because it's hard to actually give it a rating now based on what I thought, because the overall mystery I definitely think is 5 stars. It is top tier. However, it's hard for me to then give it 5 stars because I wasn't as surprised this time around, because I already knew, or I already remembered bits of information, so I'm not sure. I can't make up my mind this time. I might just give it 5 stars just because, do you know what, actually, yeah, it was pretty good, and I think I would quite like to get the other 2 books from the series. Is it Good Girl, Bad Blood, and Good Girl Gone Bad? I don't know. No. But I must admit, my second read of this book, I did enjoy it more, which is what I set out to do with this series, is to read books that I previously shitted on or hated just because it wasn't quite for me. So, another one under my belt. I think I gave Caraval 5 stars and said I would like to read more. I think this one, I will give it 4.5. We'll say 4.5, but I'll round it up to 5. Because it's well written, the characters are well fleshed out, even if for me that's not always a good thing, because I could not stand her dad always calling her Pickle. The little brother character was just annoying. The mum was nice, I liked the mum. She was the only normal one. Pip was quite weird too. The family were just one of those, like, it's very TV families, and I'm like, oh, it gives me the ick. Like, it's not normal. I mean, maybe it is normal. I don't know. But there was something about the family that was a bit too quirky for me. I'm not really a quirky person. But anywho, so I'm glad that I reread this book because I did actually enjoy it. And I think I could enjoy reading the other books in the series, because at least that way it'll be sort of unbiased, or it'll be a better way for me to judge it, because I won't already have read it, so I won't have remembered things, and things might actually shock me. So yeah, I do have another book by Holly Jackson called The Reappearance of Rachel Price, I believe it's called. So I will read that at some point, and that might be a good way for me to judge Holly Jackson, because it's not in the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. I'll see how the characters are in that, but I definitely recommend this. It's a very good mystery. There's a lot of twists and turns. It's very well done. I do really enjoy it, and I really like her writing style. So that's another one under my belt, and actually I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the first time. So I'm pleased. This series is so far done exactly what I wanted it to do. 2 books that I initially did not like I've come out liking them. I already feel like a better person for it. I don't know if I will find any more books to read. I think this will only work if it's a book that I've read years ago and didn't like then, and then rereading it now just to see if I've matured as a reader. Because if I read a book that I've only just read, I don't think my opinions would really change that much. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would qualify in this. There's never been, those were the two books that I felt like I'd seen the most in the book community and people were loving them. So I can't think if I've seen anything else that everyone's loved that I've been like, ooh, no, that was terrible. But I will keep a look at and see. I could also expand on this and just start reading popular books that everyone loves just to see my opinions. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I will leave a link down below of the first part where I read Caraval for the first time. I'll also leave some links below of the challenge I was doing where I challenged myself to read for 2 hours every day for 7 days. That challenge is kind of, I did 5 days straight and then forgot to read for 3 days. But I'm on track, I'm recovering. I have another day under my belt. I have 6 days now. So that video will be up very soon, but I finished reading that book in that video. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video, whatever that may be. Feel free to, if you'd like, you can give me a little follow on Instagram, Laura_loves_books. I also have Twitter, which X, which I don't really use anymore, but I might get back into it because I do sort of miss it a little bit. I also have a TikTok, which I don't actually use it for anything book related, but I am thinking maybe I might, just for funsies. So you can give me a little follow on that as well. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye!